Hey everyone, welcome back. Today is day 5 of my journey to learn Japanese, and today we're gonna shift gears. So, previously I've been tackling how to read hiragana and katakana, and you can see how I did that by viewing the previous stream recordings on the LingoCommand YouTube channel. However, today I'm going to be trying to learn at least 30 words of basic Japanese vocabulary. And with that said, let's get started. So, if we go to the vocabulary section here under beginner, we've got a variety of different topics. And so I think learning about colors is as good as any other place to start. And just to take a step back for a moment, my goal here indeed is to learn vocabulary, but for now, I'm not going to be learning it as kanji, right? So here we have the Romaji version of like the Japanese words. Here we have it with hiragana and katakana, and then here hiragana, katakana, and kanji. And this last version, for now, I'm not going to be focusing on. Perhaps when I've got a couple hundred words under my belt and, I'm something beyond just a complete beginner, I will go back and learn the kanji. But for now, I think, just knowing the words, continuing to familiarize myself with hiragana and katakana, I think that's sufficient. But, of course, this is a step easier, just reading the Romaji. So that is not something I'm gonna do because I want to maintain my ability to read hiragana and katakana. So let's take a moment to study this table. So we can press here to get the pronunciation.
黒
Nice, kuro. This is ao.
青
This is... I'm gonna zoom in just a tad. Chairo, right? Because this is chi, this is ya. So this is a hiragana yun combination. Cha, this is i, and this is ro, so chairo.
茶色
Okay. Midori, this is to, but because of the dakuten mark, this is do, not to. So midori.
緑
This is hairo.
灰色
And then this is written in katakana. So this is orange.
オレンジ
Pink.
ピンク
Okay. So clearly these two words are taken from English. This is murasaki.
紫
Aka.
赤
And shiro.
白
So that's nice. Now, I think the best thing in order to learn vocabulary is to just fail. So we're going to do the quiz. I'm just going to jump straight in. And I think to begin with, I'm going to be translating Japanese to English. That's a tad easier. So we're going to swap the languages so that we get the Japanese here, and then we have to type in the English. And I'm gonna change the ordering. Now the reason I'm doing that, I'll show you here for the study section. So if I swap languages again, and then uncheck random ordering, you can see that these words are in alphabetical order. Black, blue, brown, green, gray, orange, pink, purple, red, white. And so, likewise, if I do the quiz and swap the languages, these are also going to be in alphabetical order. And so, technically, you can sort of cheat, right? Because you know that the first one isn't going to be white. You know that's going to be way at the bottom. But when you apply random ordering, now all of a sudden, you're just really going to have to know the words. So let's give this a try. This is Orange. Well, considering that's a loan word from English, this is just orange. This is kuro. Is that black? This is shiro. It's white. Murasaki is purple. Hairo, is that green? It's gray. It's gray. This is chairo. Yellow? Brown. This is pinku. Pink. Ao is blue, if I recall correctly. This is midori, so this is green. And this is aka, which is red. Now, of course, this 80% is nice. So one thing we can do here is save that score, and then we're getting a grade for each topic, and you can press here to go back. Having said that, I got 80, so let's try and get 100. Let's try that again. And I think the words that I struggled with were chairo, hairo, and I think the rest was fine. So let me just write it like this, or change the format like so. So this is hairo, it's gray, and then brown is chairo. So they've got the same ending, right? This airo. And I'm gonna try and come up with like a little mnemonic, like a little hack to just try and remember which one's which. Chairo. Chairo, chai is, I think, I swear that's like a type of tea. Tea is usually brown. And so that's how I'm gonna remember this one. And then I'm just gonna say, if I stop hiding the unselected words, if I zoom out, I think, yeah, these are the only two colors that end in airo. So if I remember that gray and brown both end in airo, and then I remember that chairo is brown, then the other one by default is gray. So let's try the quiz again. I'm gonna swap languages, uncheck, and sorry, I'm gonna uncheck and then check random ordering so that we get a different, permutation, a different scrambling of the rows. So we know midori is green. This is orange. This is pink. Aka is red. Oh, this is not aka though. This is ao. Ah, that's silly. This is shiro, which is white. This is murasaki, which is purple. This is hairo. So we know that if it ends in airo, when it comes to colors, it's either brown or gray, at least for this list of colors. Chairo is the one that's brown, so this must be gray. Aka is red. Kuro. Is that black? And then this one is chairo, so that's brown. Okay, 90%, that ain't too bad. And I'm not gonna go to the Japanese dashboard because I'm just gonna try and lock in, try and get 100%. So what we're gonna do is, uncheck and recheck random ordering, get a new fresh permutation of the rows, like a scrambling of the questions. And so this first one is chairo, so we know that's gray. Brown. Jeez, that was very silly. I'm gonna scramble the rows again. This is kuro. Kuro is black. Just gotta lock in. This is ao, which is blue. Shiro is white. Orange is orange. This is pink. Midori is green. Chairo is brown. Murasaki is purple. Hairo is gray. And aka is red. Great, so we've got 100%. However, in my opinion, it's far harder to try and do the quiz from English to Japanese. So let's give this a try. Now, I know it's about to happen here, but I'm just going to demonstrate it. So green is Midori, but because we've selected hiragana and katakana, it's expecting the answer in this format. If I were to put romaji here, Midori, Murasaki, aka, that's going fine. Having said that, I want to practice writing it with the actual hiragana and katakana. And so when kind of studying this type of vocabulary, going from English to Japanese, one thing you can do, so this is on a Mac device, is you can see here how it says romaji. So if I press hiragana here, and I have a tutorial on this, so you can go to my YouTube channel, and there's a video how to type Japanese on a Mac. And if you have a Windows like device, I can make a tutorial on that as well. Or for now, I guess, check a different video. But having said that, because we now have this hiragana writing system, so we know green is Midori. So if I type on my actual keyboard M and I, what is it doing? It now gives us it's giving us the hiragana character Mi. We're going to ignore these suggestions now. We're going to go to the next hiragana character. So Midori. So we type D and O, and we get the Do hiragana character. Notice that this is indeed To, and then because of these two marks at the top, To, T goes to D, so this is now Do. So this is Midori. I'm going to ignore all of these suggestions. And so this is quite cool because now we're doing a quiz where we're being asked to get the Japanese word, and we're typing it in hiragana. So let's go to the next one. Murasaki. How about red? So red is aka. Okay. White is shiro. Now, I'm not sure what's going on here at the bottom, right? Because as you can see, we're basically getting suggestions where there's like a light gray background with white text. I'm not a fan of that. I'm just gonna do a super quick investigation if I can turn this off. Open Japanese, romaji settings. Let's just ignore it for now. Oh, this one's gonna be a bit trickier, right? Because orange is orenji in Japanese. Orenji, that's the loan word from English orange. So we know this is gonna be written in katakana. So if I remember correctly, it's like, I don't just type O-R-A-N-G-E, because that's actually not how it's pronounced in Japanese. It's orenji. So this first one is O, then it's re, then it's the katakana character for N, and then it's G. Right? For pink, it's... So let's just focus in on what we're doing here. So we've got English here on the left. We know that pink in Japanese is a katakana word. It's just pinku. So type in P. And it's not just P, because we know for katakana there's a cluster of 5. So I think it's pa, pi, pu, pe, po, which is like the cluster of 5 with H, ha, hi, fu, he, ho. And then when you add the handakuten mark, that's this little circle here at the top, that's going to map hi into P. So now we just need N. And then, of course, you just think, oh, it's just a K. But in Japanese, actually, the word is pinku, from what I remember. So this should get the job done. Fantastic. Now I'm going to use this little mnemonic device. So I'm going to just, well, I was going to open a new tab and show you the words, but that would be cheating because then I also see the answer. But for both brown and gray, the words in Japanese ends in airo. So I remember that there's chairo and hairo. And the way that I remembered it is chairo, chai is, I think that's a type of tea. Tea is usually brown. So I remember that chairo is brown in Japanese. But currently, I've got katakana on here. So I'm going to go back to hiragana. I'm going to type this. So chai. Now this is a little tricky because I'm going to go back. So if I put, there we go. So I'm going to explain this briefly. So I remember that for chairo, the cha is a hiragana yun combination. So the first character is chi, the next one is ya, but this is chi ya. What I want is this blended one syllable sound. So if I just type CHA, do you see now how these are the same characters as this one? Same characters, but this one is half-sized. When it's half-sized, that basically means that these two characters form one blended sound. So chi and ya becomes cha. With that out of the way, it's chai ro. Cool. The next one, blue. So blue is easy. I think it's ao. Now I built this app and I'm noticing something quite strange is when you're using these like, you know, not the European alphabet, for some reason what you've spelt here, it kind of goes on to the next one. So I'll write a little note to myself and I'll try and fix that issue. But black in any case is kuro. Kuro. See, there we can see it again. It's moved on to the next one. So I'm going to try and sort that out. Apologies. Now, gray, well, do you remember how I said that gray and brown, they both end in airo, and this is chairo. So the other one, if I remember correctly, is hairo. Is that right? Hairo. That's really unfortunate. So I got 90%. Let's just save that. And before we go to the Japanese dashboard, let's just see what the difference is between my answer and the correct one. So hairo is with 2 eyes. So this hiragana symbol means eye. So that's something to remember. And I want to show something kind of interesting here. So you can see here that I've got a 90% for colors and 100% for colors. So that, you know, you'd be like, how does that make sense? But these grades that you're looking at, they're actually dependent on what configuration you have here. So just to explain, suppose that this one's unchecked. It basically means, well, when it's unchecked, you're not doing Japanese vocab to English, you're actually doing English to Japanese vocab. So when doing English to Japanese, I got a 90% for colors with random ordering on. If I switch this off, well, we haven't actually done that, so there's no grade for that. And then going from Japanese to English, which in my opinion is a tad easier, you can see here I've got 100%. So you're actually getting a grade depending on what settings you've put when you did the quiz. So let's go back to colors. We're going to test hiragana to katakana. We are going to reapply random ordering. And we just saw the answer, so I'm gonna reapply random ordering and give this a go. So gray and brown both end in airo. Chairo is brown, so this is hairo. Hairo. And I'm gonna learn from my previous mistake. Hairo has 2 eyes. Next one. Blue is ao. Red is aka. Black is kuro. Pink is pinku. But that was almost a big mistake because pinku is katakana. It's a Japanese loan word. Quite literally pink, pinku. So what we actually want is this. White, we got to go back to hiragana. This is... So white in Japanese is shiro. So if I now type in shi and then ro, that is correct. Green is midori. Brown. So I had a little trick here for how to remember brown. Gray and brown both end in airo in Japanese. And this one, we've already answered it, is hairo. So kind of by process of elimination, brown must be chairo. And before I press enter, so we can see if this is correct or not, I think it's important to point out once more that this first character here is chi. The next one is ya. But if I actually type chi and then ya, you can see this ya is actually far larger than if I type it like this. And when it's half sized like this, that denotes that we're looking at a hiragana yun combination. So when you see this half sized ya, yu, or yo, then that basically means that this chi and this ya becomes a blended single syllable, cha. And so brown is chairo. Great. Orange is orenji in Japanese. It's a Japanese loan word. So we got to go back to katakana because that's the alphabet or the writing system used for loan words. And it's tempting to just type in O-R-A-N-G-E, but it's in Japanese spelled a bit differently. So it's O, Re, N, G. So this is J-I, that's an N. This is an E, not an A. So it's similar, but not quite identical to how it's spelled in English. And then purple, straightforward enough, is mu, ra, sa, ki. And so that's great. Got 100% now for colors. So I'll save that result. Let's just see that. So that's great. Now we've got 100% for colors. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move on to the next topic. So what could be useful to learn? How about body parts? Let's learn body parts. So I'm just going to take a moment to study this table. Now notice here that the spelling that we've got over here is in Romaji, right? This is the European alphabet. I want to challenge myself, so I'm going to be viewing this using hiragana and katakana. So what I'll do is I'll just go through the whole table. Ears is mi. Mimi. Great. This is sakana.
背中、
Ah, small mistake there. So this is not sa, this is se. Is that right? Senaka.
背中、
Senaka. Okay. I should know this by now, but I'm just going to open this in a new tab. and have a quick look. So if I go to writing systems, go to basic hiragana. Oh yeah, that's sa, and this is sa. Okay, great. So this is sakana,
背中、
sanaka. I said sakana, that's wrong. It's okay. Sanaka. This is kuchi.
口、
Nice. This is te.
手、
Atama.
頭、
This is ashi.
足、
This is yubi.
指、
This is ude.
腕、
This is a.
目、
Oh, no, it's me. Okay, this is me. And then this is ashi.
足、
And this is onaka. Onaka.
お腹、
So let's just do the quiz. Give this a go. I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start with Japanese to English. So I'm gonna start with having the hiragana and katakana on the left. And so this is senaka, which is back. Now I'm typing romaji here, but obviously because we're doing English, I'm just gonna go back here to British English. And this is back. This one, ashi. If I recall correctly, is that leg? Great. Yubi is that feet? Fingers. Me was that eyes? Atama is head. Naka stomach. So what I'm doing here is I'm looking here at the hiragana for the words on the left and trying to find out what the corresponding English is. So just to go back briefly, I've just been studying this table, and if I now go back to the quiz setting, well, I just reset the quiz, but that's okay, you can do it again. And I'm reapplying random ordering just so that when we're doing this quiz for body parts, if I know that it's in alphabetical order, you don't need to be a genius to be like, oh, the first word, well, it can't be stomach because S is at the end of the alphabet, and B, back, is at the start. So this way, you actually have to know Japanese. So this first character is me, which I think it was eyes. This one is yubi, which is fingers. This is kuchi. The question is, what was kuchi again? I'm gonna put a question mark so his mouth. This is ude. Mouth? No, this is mouth. I'm not sure what this one is. It's arm. Senaka is back. This is onaka. Onaka is stomach. This is ashi. Let's see. Ashi. So, is that leg? That's feet. This is hand. Mimi is ears. And this one is Otama. Otama was head. So we got 73%. It's not bad. Having said that, I'm noticing that ashi, apparently it both means leg and feet. Ain't that surprising? So if I undo all of this, let's see. Yeah, so feet and leg both means ashi. Is that right? What is feet in Japanese? Ashi. What is leg in Japanese? Ashi. Here we've got a Reddit article. Let's just give that a brief, or like a Reddit post. So in Japanese, the word for foot and leg is both, yeah, this thing, ashi. Okay, tad confusing, but I guess that's just the way it is. So fortunately, it looks like, you know, the app's correct. So I got a 73% last time. So why don't we swap the languages, apply random ordering, and go again? So, onaka. Onaka. So I'm reading the hiragana here. And onaka, I think there was stomach and there was head. But head was otama. So this is stomach. This is me. And me means eyes in Japanese. Te is hand. And then this is a bit annoying because the word for so ashi can either mean leg or it can mean foot. So it's kind of like 50-50 chance that you can get this correct. Let's just put leg. Right, got lucky there. But this next one, yubi, that means fingers, if I recall correctly. This is senaka. I got that wrong a couple of times now, but it's not gonna happen again. This is back. And then this is atama. And atama means, okay, lock in. I want to get 100%. So stomach, this one is head. It's head. Mimi's ears. And then this one, so the previous one was leg. Leg and foot both are the same word in Japanese. So this is foot. Oh, that's hard. Feet, okay. And I think what's going on here is foot and feet are both ashi in Japanese, but the way this code is written is it's only accepting feet, not foot. So I can make that code change later because, you know, I've built this app myself. So this next one is ude. So this one is mouth, kuchi. So let's try and remember what possibly could this be? Could it be like nose? That's arm. All right, 82%, that's an improvement. So I'm gonna save that quiz result. So we're at 82, that's not bad. We're gonna go again. And one thing I want to check quickly check is feet in Japanese is ashi, but then what about foot? It's also ashi. So whether it's plural or singular, it's the same word. So I'm guessing from context, you have to try and figure out whether which word is being used. Having said that, I'm going to go back to the quiz. We're doing Japanese to English for the quiz, so so this is correct, but I'm testing my knowledge here with hiragana and katakana. I'm going to uncheck and recheck random ordering to get a fresh scrambling of the rows. And we'll go again. So this is onaka. Onaka is come on, this is stomach. Me is eyes. Ude is, what is ude? Oh no. Oh, I know, that's arm. That's the one I got wrong previously. So okay, this is arm. And then what is this? So this is kuchi, kuchi's mouth. There we go. Now ashi could either mean leg or foot. Let's go with feet. Oh, got lucky there. I need to find some way to make this, you know, you can't have a quiz where you just have to guess whether we're talking about feet or leg. So it's good that I'm doing this, you know, then you're basically finding out how to improve the app, as well as learning Japanese. But in any case, this is atama. Atama is, what is atama? That is head. This is yubi. Yubi is, what is yubi? It's finger. Or is it fingers? Finger. Oh, it's plural, fingers. That's okay. Te is hand. Mimi is ears. Then this one is leg. And senaka is back. 91%. Okay. So we're gonna save this. And then we're gonna go and try the quiz again. However, I don't like the fact there's some issues here. So what I'm actually gonna do is, this is a little bit of an aside, but if perhaps this is interesting for y'all. I'm basically opening the code for my app. So if I go to the web app folder, because basically why I'm doing this like little aside is because I don't like the fact that, so let's say we go to study, we uncheck random ordering, we uncheck swap languages. So here we have the fact, let's put romaji, just make it simpler. Feet means ashi, leg means ashi. And so imagine you're doing the quiz. And here you have ashi, here you have ashi. You've no way to basically figure out which one's which. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fix this issue. So what I'm gonna start with is I'm going to spin up a local copy of my website, like so. And so this is basically the same app, but what we can do is make local changes. So if we go to vocab, body parts. Now, if I go to Visual Studio Code, search for senaka, just to kind of demonstrate the point super briefly, if I put senako and what's the easiest way to do this? If I make this like, if I tuck this in the corner, see how this is senaka now? So if I put senako, put senako here, refresh this page. There we go, we've got senako. So having now demonstrated that we can actually make changes, and this is the correct part of the code. Let's look at this code here, see what it's saying. So this is great. So we've noticed that in Japanese, whether it's plural or singular, it's the same word. So if you get mimi, that can either mean ear or ears. This one, me, it can either mean eye or eyes. This one, or feet. This one can either mean finger or fingers. this one, hand or hands. Heads is a bit nonsensical, but I'm guessing this can also mean legs. And I'm putting plural for the parts where, you know, a human has more than one. So this is arms. And let's just double check that really quickly. So arms in Japanese is ude. And then, yeah, this is indeed English on the right. Thank you, Google. This is also let's just do arm in Japanese is ude. And then this is also one arm, kata ude. Oof. Sorry, there seems to be something going on with YouTube Studio. Let's see what it's saying. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. So it seems like there might be a connection issue. But I'm getting sidetracked here. So I think what I'll do is we gave these like plural options here, and then at least this way. Now, if we do the quiz, we swap the columns. Something like Mimi. Oof, that's still saying it's incorrect. Let's see. If I go back here, ears, allowed answer, ear or ears. Let's refresh the page. Sorry. So this is ear. And if I refresh, we can also put ears. Whilst currently with the code that we have, for Mimi, it's only accepting ears. If I put ear, it's going to say it's incorrect. So that's progress. But what I now really want is that for Ashi here, I can put foot or leg, right? Because when doing this quiz, either should be correct. So let us put so when you see Ashi, that can mean foot, feet, leg, or legs. When you see Ashi, that can mean leg, legs, foot, feet, in no particular ordering. So now, whether I put leg, right, let's refresh the page. So whether I put leg, or I put foot, or I put feet, or I put legs, it's all correct. So that's great news. Let's quickly push this into production. And thank you for bearing with me. So if I say fix, ensuring user can put any correct Japanese to English answer for body parts quiz, we can now push that. And off stream, I'm gonna triple check that this is actually correct, but based on the research we just did, that is the case. So now git checkout development, git merge prod. Now I'm hosting my app on this thing called Netlify. So our quiz now is going to be updated in production in like 1 or 2 minutes. So I guess what we'll do is we'll just wait until that goes green. So if I go to Netlify, currently we see that this is building. That's fine. Why don't we just, in the meantime, study this again? So if here we have the English words on the left, the Japanese words on the right in hiragana and katakana. So This is ude,
腕、
senaka,
背中、
mimi,
耳、
me,
目、
ashi. And so this one's tricky, right? Because we see with ashi that it's, whether it's feet or leg, they're both ashi in Japanese. I think there are examples of words like this also in English, where there are multiple meanings for a given word.
足、
So this is ashi, this is yubi, yubi's fingers.
指、
Te is hand.
手、
Atama,
頭、
ashi,
足、
kuchi.
口、
Stomach is onaka.
お腹、
Onaka. Okay. It's nice to get the pronunciation because onaka and onaka,
お腹、
it doesn't quite sound the same. The good news is our code change is now pushed into production. So, for example, if I now go here and I'm doing Japanese to English, and then we go to ashi, whether I put leg here. Wait, let's refresh the page so it grabs the latest version. Leg. We put legs. We put feet. Or we put foot. It's all correct. And the reason why that's the case is because leg and foot, it's both ashi in Japanese, and it's the same word whether it's plural or singular. So foot or feet, leg or legs, it's all the same. So now this quiz is actually just like a tad more accurate. And so why don't we apply random ordering? And we're applying random ordering because these words are in alphabetical order. And so we don't want to cheat, right? We know if we're talking about body parts, our back is probably at the top. And so when you scramble the rows, you actually have to know each word. So this is ashi, so we can put leg, we can put foot, it's all correct. But mimi is, and let's just go with singular for now. So mimi means ear. Me is eye. Yubi is finger. Ude is arm. This is atama. Atama. So you have okana. Is that okana? Onaka. Onaka. So this one is stomach. Atama is head. Because they sound a little bit similar to my ears, so I get those mixed up a little bit. But te means hand. Kuchi is mouth. Senaka is back. And this is why I'm doing this in, with random ordering turned on, because otherwise this would be at the top and you wouldn't even have to know what it meant. You'd just be like, oh, well, B, that's pretty far up the beginning of the alphabetical order. So ashi, we can put leg, we can put legs, feet or foot. Let's put foot. And this one is onaka, that's stomach. Fantastic. So we've got our 100%. And sure, why not? Let's just see that on our performance dashboard. Ain't that great? Now, this is 100%, sure, but it's for Japanese to English, which is actually, in my opinion, a tad easier than when you do English to Japanese. So as you can see, when we uncheck this box, it says no data. And that's because I haven't actually done the body parts quiz from English to Japanese. And I want to show y'all something about this. So if I put, so mimi or eyes was me, right? That's great. But what I really want to do is I want to test. So if I put me, now it's going to say, oh, that's incorrect because it's expecting my answer to be written in hiragana and katakana. So that's actually not a problem. We just go here, we press hiragana. We apply random ordering. I'm going to try this quiz now while writing hiragana. So this is something that you can set up for a Mac. I've got a tutorial video on my YouTube channel for that. I don't currently have one for Windows, but there are loads of tutorials online if you need one for Windows. So for ears, So now you see, I find this a lot harder, English to Japanese. So ears, mimi. Mimi was ears and me was eyes. So this is me. And I'm going to explain actually how this works in a bit more detail. So for example, back is sunaka, right? So if I type S and E, the corresponding hiragana character for that is this S. Na is this one. So I just typed on my keyboard N and A, and I'm getting this symbol. And then for this one, it's ka. So if I do that, that's correct. Great. And yeah, so what's going on here is basically I'm just typing romaji, but the keyboard is then, with this configuration set up, it's mapping it to hiragana. So feet is ashi. Cool. Stomach is so atama is head. Onaka. Is that stomach? There we go. Fantastic. Eyes is me. Head is atama. Okay. Atama. Is that correct? Come on. If I could get 100%, that would be amazing. So this is ude. Now, I think it's worth pointing out, right? This hiragana character actually, if we, so because I kind of lost the cursor, it just filled in, it basically said, okay, this person's done answering the question. But if I go to LingoCommand here, and I need to go back to British writing system because I'm trying to type in lingocommand.com here. And I go to writing systems, and we're going to go to Japanese theory hiragana. We can see here that in the cluster of 5 that has the T, tachi, tsu, te, to, this te looks just like here. But because of these two marks, that's called dakuten. So when you add that to a hiragana character, as you can see here on page 2 of Hiragana Explained, it maps these hiragana characters to a different sound. So T becomes D. So for example, te, when you add the character here, becomes de.
de,
So just wanted to explain that briefly. That's what's going on here. This one, right, that's no problem. This is just she. But if I answer this now, it's going to consider it incorrect because it is expecting, because of, let me zoom out a bit, because of this setting here, it is expecting hiragana. So if I type ashi, by the way, I noticed some kids kind of screaming in the background. So I'm gonna my Apple AirPods just so that hopefully the audio is a bit better for those of y'all watching. Fingers. Okay, let's just lock in. So fingers is, oh no. If I saw the Japanese, I'd recognize it, but the other way around is hard. Let's skip this for now. This is te. And this is ku, chi. Oh no, what is fingers? Come on, try to remember. I've actually got no idea. I'm just gonna put a question mark. I don't know. So let's save this. I don't want to go to my performance dashboard because I want to see UB. So this is the hiragana character for hi. As you can see here, hi, and then when you add the dakuten on top, hi goes to B. So I just gotta remember this. Fingers is yubi. Cool. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna uncheck and recheck random ordering. That basically re-scrambles the questions. I'm gonna go again. So we can see here that we've got hiragana checked. So ears is mimi. stomach is onaka. Hand is te. Eyes is me. Arm is ude. Back is sunaka. Mouth is... So what's mouth? Kuchi. Kuchi. And you can literally see this happening. So like, for example, leg is a. So if I type a, okay, it immediately maps it to the hiragana character. But for example, if I type s here, it doesn't really know what I'm trying to do yet. So if I then put h, it still doesn't know. But when I put the I, well, there's the hiragana character she. So then it maps it to she. Just to give y'all a little insight on what I'm actually doing with my keyboard here. So feet, that's literally the same one, ashi. So leg and feet, they in Japanese you both say ashi. And that's also for singular and plural. So leg or legs, it's both ashi, but from context, you try and, to the best of my knowledge, you basically try and figure out, is this person talking about one leg or multiple legs? Head is atama. And then this one is yubi. Fantastic. So now I can save this. And in my opinion, English to Japanese is indeed a lot harder. But we've got 100% for both of these topics. So that's really, I think that's a great result. When I uncheck random ordering, you can see here that there's no data, and that's because I never did the quiz with random ordering not applied. And so basically these grades, you get 1 grade depending on for each configuration. So did you do Japanese to English, or did you do English to Japanese? Did you do random ordering, or did you not do random ordering? And so there are 2 options here, 2 options there. That's a total of four different ways that you can do the quiz. And for each of those 4 options, you can get a grade. And in my opinion, when you uncheck this, when it's English to Japanese with random ordering turned on, that's about as hard as it can get. And so I think the next topic that is worth doing would be hiragana and katakana. Is clothes. And sure, this is nice with romaji, you can just read it without thinking, but I'm trying to practice not only learning this vocabulary, but also consolidating my understanding of hiragana and katakana. So socks, this is hiragana here, this is kutsushita. Kutsushita. Tricky. Okay, next one. Now you can immediately see, in my opinion, katakana, they're more like straight edges. It's all a bit more sharp, but maybe I'm imagining. But in any case, this is katakana, and this is necktie. Necktie. That's a word in Japanese that's loaned from English, from the English word necktie, which means in Japanese, tie is necktie. But they pronounce it a bit different, so it's necktie.
Necktie.
So that U is silent, so it's necktie.
Necktie.
Necktie. Okay. This one, sukato. Skirt, clearly, with kind of, a Japanese twist.
Skirt.
Right, so this is katakana again. This is more katakana. This is J, J. This is ya. So I'm currently just studying the vocabulary for clothes in Japanese. I've got the English word here, Japanese here, and I'm doing this for hiragana and katakana. And currently on jacket, and so here we've got ji, here we've got ya, but you might be able to tell this ya is a bit smaller than all of the other characters. And so like a full-sized ya, it's actually quite a bit larger. And so because it's half-sized, we know that we're looking at a katakana yun combination. Basically, when this ya, yu, or yo is smaller than the preceding katakana or hiragana character, it's going to form a blended syllable, one sound. So this is ji, this is ya, so this is ja together. Not ji ya, is ja. Now, this is ke, jake. Oof, this is tricky. So this is a small-sized tsu. In Japanese, when you have a small tsu, it's basically, so this next character here is to. And that's great and all, but to is just to, right? But because of this tsu here in front, this is actually a double T. So if we look at the Romaji interpretation of this, so this is going to be jaketo, but the to is with two T's. Two T's.
ジャケット、
And I think we can hear it, right? When we hear this lady say jaketo,
ジャケット、
there's like this cadence, this stop. Jaketo. Can even like Google it quickly. What is, so I'm typing hiragana there. That's not good. What is tsu in Japanese double consonant? See if we can get a quick explanation. So here, exactly what I was describing, this tsu, it's this half-size symbol in hiragana, this one in katakana, indicates a double consonant, creating a brief pause or emphasis on the consonant that follows it, rather than being pronounced as its own syllable. So this brief pause that is being described here for the jacket, jaketo, of course it sounds very similar, but the Japanese pronunciation, because of this tsu mark, there's going to be a brief pause before we hit this to. So if we listen,
ジャケット、
you hear that little pause before the to. Let's move on to the next word. Underwear. So here we have hiragana, which means I guess it's not a loan word, right? This is shi, dagi. So this here is ki, but because of this dakuten mark on top, if we look at this table, K goes to G, right? So ki here goes to G. So shitagi, shitagi,
下着、
shitagi. Okay, shitagi. So the E sound here is very short. And that's why I like these audio buttons, because it just kind of consolidates like how do you pronounce these words, right? So this one, we can see that this is katakana. So this is se, ta. Now why am I dragging out these vowel sounds, right? This is just se and this is ta, so se ta. But in Japanese, for katakana, this dash mark here extends the vowel sound. If we go to LingoCommand, hiragana explained, not hiragana, my bad. We go to katakana explained, and we go to the 5th lesson. This dash-like symbol indeed extends the vowel sound. So saka becomes saka. Noto becomes noto. So this is seta, which does sound a bit like sweater. So I guess that's where, once again, it's a Japanese loan word.
セータ
Seta. This is more katakana. Jeez. Seems like a lot of clothes in Japanese are all coming from English. Su. Wait. Zu. Jeez, I gotta lock in on this one. This is SU. So in this, because of the dakuten mark, this is gonna be zu. And this is normally this ho. The way I remember it is this kind of looks like a home to me, the symbol, ho. And then when you add dakuten on top, H goes to B, so this is subon, subon. So I'm guessing zubon is a Japanese loan word from a language that it loaned. Like, the Japanese language loaned the word zubon, but I'm guessing it wasn't English. It got it from another language.
ズボン、
Let's Google that super briefly. Japanese trousers, zubon. Loan word. What language? But the direct source for the Japanese zubon is generally considered French, despite jupon, meaning underskirt or petticoat. Okay, so it's got French origins. So that does show that, you know, these loan words, these katakana loan words, they don't necessarily just have to be English. There's one example that's very easy to remember. So if we go to it's like food. So bread here, it's pan. Now, it's not bread. So pan is from the French word pan, which is bread. So that was just a little example of a, you know, loan word that clearly doesn't have English origin. So if we go back to clothes, turn hiragana and katakana back on. That was our last word. Okay, so enough waffling from me. Let's just lock in. Let's apply random ordering, permute the rows, and see what score I can get. So this is shitagi. Shitagi. So what I'm doing here, I've got Japanese words on the left for the topic clothes. I've applied kind of random ordering because I don't want to cheat and say, oh, you know, this clothing item is first in the alphabetical order, so it's probably this word. So I've applied random ordering. Here, so this shitagi, I actually don't know what this is. So I'm just going to put a question mark. This is underwear. Okay. But this one I do know. This is zubon, and we just spoke about this. So this is trousers. Great. The next word that we have here. So this is ho, but because of this dakuten mark, if we go here, so we see here H goes to B. We see that, is that right? Hold on a second. Oh yeah, of course, I'm looking at the wrong table. So if we go to writing systems, of course, dakuten and handakuten is indeed the concept that's going on here, but this is hiragana. So indeed here, ho goes to bo. Just kind of explaining my thought process here. So this is boshi. What that is, I don't know. So this is another thing that I like to do is when you get this annoying sound, you know, when you make a mistake, it sort of locks it in your mind, like because you don't, I at least don't enjoy getting things wrong. It makes me pay attention. So boshi's hat, shitagi is underwear. Okay. Kutsushita. God, I'm rubbish at this. Still don't know what this is. Socks. Okay. But that's okay, right? So I'm gonna get a low grade at first, and I'm just gonna keep going until I get a good grade. So this is necktie. Neku tie. So this is tie. This is kutsu. Shoes. Seta. So we've got this extended vowel sound here. Seta. That basically means sweater. Sweater. Because you can hear as well, I think they took this from English. Seta sounds like sweater. With kind of like a Japanese pronunciation, a Japanese spin to it. This is again katakana. This is jaketo. How am I pronouncing this? Or jaketo. This is G, this is ya, but this ya is half size. So we know it's a katakana yun combination. When you have a small ya, yu, or yo, you know that the character before it and that small ya, yu, or yo form a blended one syllable sound, a yun combination. So this is ja, ke. Now this is tsu, but it's half sized. So it's actually, you don't pronounce this. The point of this is to say that this to is actually with two T's, not one. It's almost like a brief pause. So this is jacket to. And I'm actually not great with the vocabulary, but because I know English, clearly this has got to be jacket, right? There we go. This is suka. Sukafu. It's gotta be scarf, right? What else could it be? This one is sukato. What else can it be but skirt? So we've got 60%. Now we could go to the Japanese dashboard and like be like, oh, cool. Let's look at the grade, but I don't want to do that for now. What I actually want to do is I want to lock in on the ones that I got wrong. And so one way you can do that is if we go to study, I remember I got underwear, hat, socks, and shoes wrong. So these were the words that I got wrong. I can hide the rest. What I can do now is I can quiz myself just on these 4. So I can undo and redo random ordering, permute the rows a bit. And this is one thing that I truly believe is when you're studying something, and let's say you know 60 or 70%, repeating the 70% that you already know, right? That's kind of like wasting your time. What you really want to do is you want to hone in only on the parts that you don't know. So this is boshi, and that's cat. I remember this now. And I don't, by the way, hear any more background noise. I think what I can do. Okay. Sorry, please bear with me one moment. I can put my Apple AirPods away because they're almost dying as well. So this is shitagi. I think that's underwear. Fantastic. This one, kutsu shita. I'm gonna go back and see how that's pronounced because it's rubbish. But I think that means socks. And then this one, by process of elimination, it's gotta be shoes, right? Kutsu. Shoes. Let's just see how this is pronounced super quickly.
下着、
Shitagi.
靴下、
Kutsuishita.
靴下、
Kutsuishita. Okay. Cool. Let's do one more round of this. So what do we have here? We have boshi. Boshi's hat. Shitagi is underwear. Or is it? Let's hold off on that for a second. Kutsu is shoes. Kutsuishita. Oh, this is a nightmare. What is this? So one of them is underwear and the other is socks. Kutsuishita. Shitagi. I feel like this is underwear. And then this is socks. Okay. I've got a basic understanding now of these 4, and it's not a coincidence, right? The 4 that I got wrong are actual Japanese words. They're not foreign, like loan words that I'm kind of familiar with. And so what we can do is we can uncheck this select words. Actually, I just kind of want to clean this up. Let's uncheck these. Then what we now get is we get the full quiz with all 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 words. So I'm going to uncheck and recheck random ordering, permute the rows. Absolutely no way that I'm cheating then. And I'm not doing this because I'm like a dishonest person, but it's to keep yourself honest, to keep yourself accountable. Don't try and like do things the easy way. So this is sukafu. So clearly that's scarf. For those of you that have just joined, I'm basically doing I'm studying clothes vocabulary in Japanese. I've got the hiragana and katakana here on the left, and I'm just now typing in the English. And I think actually going from Japanese to English is a tad easier than going from English to Japanese. So just to kind of get myself kind of warmed up, just to slowly improve step by step, I'm doing Japanese to English. So this next one, boshi, that means hat. Sukato. So this is an extended vowel sound. Skato. This is a skirt. Right? You can hear it. It's coming from the English word skirt. Skato. This is zubon. That's a apparently French origin loan word, but in any case, it means trousers, or I guess pants if you're an American. This is kutsu. Kutsu means shoes, right? All right. I gotta lock in. I want to get 100. I want to get 100%. So this is seta. Set and ta, but these are extended vowel sounds. So this is seta, and that means sweater. Next one is jaketo. There's a lot going on here, right? This is katakana. This is ji. This is ya. But this ya's half size. So when you see a half size ya, yu, or yo, you know that that character, as well as the preceding character, form a yun combination. So this is not ji and ya. This is a blended syllable, ja. This is ke. And this is tsu, but it's half-sized. So you don't actually pronounce this. The point of this small half-sized tsu is to say that this to, that there's like a little pause. So it's jaket to. And it's a double T here. If I were to like write down the romaji for this. But in jaket to, clearly it's jacket, right? What else could it be? The next one. So let's take a brief look. What does it say here? This is kutsushita. Oh. So shitagi is underwear. So kutsushita is the other one. It's socks. Necktie is tie. Shitagi is underwear. Fantastic. So we can save our 100% and we can look at this beautiful grade. However, notice when so if I have this box checked, these are my grades for when I'm doing Japanese to English translation. If I uncheck this, it's showing me my grades for those that I did from English to Japanese. And because random ordering is checked on, these are the results when, that I'm currently looking at is when I did English to Japanese with random ordering turned on. And in my opinion, Japanese to English, far easier than English to Japanese. And so that's going to be the next step here. We're going to redo the quiz. But now we've got English. English is the question, and it's about translating this into Japanese. And I'll show you something. So if I put boshi here, cool, that's correct. That's all nice, and we can refresh the quiz. But if I put boshi here now, it's going to say no. And that's basically because here, when you're doing the quiz, it's in what format are we expecting the answer from the user. And so to get this, what we can do is we can go here to hiragana. And I've got a tutorial on my YouTube channel for how to go from, how to type hiragana for Mac. And there are other tutorials for those of you that want to do this on a different type of device, like a Windows device. But in any case, if I now type here, so let's say I type B. When you just type B, it doesn't really know what character you're going for. But if I put bull, right, this is ho on top of, with dakuten on top. So this is indeed the hiragana character for bull. And then I put a U, so this is bo now. And then shi, this is boshi. And so now we're actually doing our quiz using expecting answers with hiragana and katakana. And of course, you could argue, okay, Kevin, you're writing this on a keyboard. You're essentially still typing romaji. You're still typing European letters, but I think it's useful because we want to immerse ourselves in the Japanese language. So what are we doing here? So I'm basically quizzing myself on Japanese vocabulary regarding clothes. We've got the English words here on the left, and I'm typing it in Japanese with hiragana and katakana because of this setting. So underwear, I swear that was like shitagi, or something like this. Oh, this ain't quite right. Oh, no way. Fantastic. Socks was... God, what was socks? I'm gonna skip this one. I have no idea. But I know scarf was like... It's coming from the English word scarf. It's a loan word. It was like scarfu. So I think it was something like se ka fu, something like this. Let's see. Okay, I wasn't too far off. So it's not jeez. So this, the first character is a su, sukafu, sukafu, su. And I think we've seen this in Japanese before. Like, you know, when or a sentence ends in mas, it's actually masu. So I think when you just want to do s in katakana without the vowel sound after, because when you have s in Japanese, you only really have sa, shi, su, se, so as options. There's no just s on its own. And so the su sound, it seems like that u quite often is silent. So that's going to be my reasoning, my way to try and basically remember this. And basically there's like this auto suggest when you are typing hiragana or katakana. So it went into the next word. We're just going to ignore this for now and move on to the next one. So sweater, it was like seta, seta, something like this. Fantastic. Now, I've kind of explained before, like if you want to write this character, just type S and E like this. So I've typed S, I'm going to type E now. And it maps it to the katakana character for se. But if you want this, so this dash looking symbol extends vowel sounds. And the way that you type it when you're in this katakana typing system is you just type dash. And it's that simple. So trousers, if I recall correctly, was like, apparently it's got like French roots. So it's once again, it's katakana. So if I type zu, bon, I think it's this. There we go. This one, oof, this is gonna be tricky. This is, okay, I want to point something out here. So when I type j, I get this simple. When I type ya, I get this one. Now look at this as opposed to here. So here I'm typing ji to get the j, ya to get ya, and here I'm doing it again, but I'm typing jya. So that's how you type yun combinations in when using this typing system with the keyboard. You see here that this ya symbol is half-sized. This one is full-sized. So if you were to say this would be jia, but because this is half-sized, that indicates that we're looking at a yun combination. And so that character, as well as the one before, it becomes one blended syllable. And so this is not ji and ya, this is ja. So I remember it starts like this, and then it's ke, to. Wow, this is really fascinating. So just for those that have just joined, I'm looking at quizzing myself on Japanese vocabulary for the topic clothes. We've got English on the left, Japanese on the right, and I'm typing these using hiragana and katakana. Kanji is a bit too much for for this stage. I'm a complete beginner. This is day 5 of me learning Japanese. But you can type hiragana and katakana like this. If you want to see how this is done, go to my YouTube channel and you can check it out. Like I've got a tutorial for that there. But just explain this here. So we have this ja, ke. When I want, so I remember this is to with like a double T. If you were to look at the Romaji interpretation. And basically, so let's say if I type tsu, you can see that these two symbols are the same, but this is half-sized. So this half-sized tsu, it's silent. It's you don't actually pronounce this. The point of this tsu is to say that the next consonant is double, so it's to. with 2 T's. So it's not jaketo, it's jaketo. And that double T also basically denotes like a pause. There's like a little, the cadence is different. And so the question is, how do you write this half-sized tsu? So what you don't do is write STU, because then you get the full-sized one. Actually, it's very smart. You just write down the consonant that comes next twice. So this is TTO. And because I wrote 2 T's, right, it puts the half-sized tsu, then I put the O to turn this T into to. So that's correct. Fantastic. Skirt. That's once again katakana. It was something like skato. Let's talk through this briefly. So this ka as an extended vowel sound, ka, because of this dash, that's what that's about. And then, I don't know if this is correct, but this is my reasoning. So skato, you don't actually hear any vowel between S and K. Skato. And I remember when you, like, arimasu, mas, des, all these words in Japanese that are like at the end of a sentence, when you write them, there's actually like desu, masu, but you don't pronounce this U sound. So I guess if you want just an S with no vowel after, right, from sa, shi, su, se, so, su makes the most sense because that's the one where you hear this silent U sound. So skato makes more sense than if you put this, because this would be sukato. This is su, I guess, U being silent. That's how I'm trying to remember this. Shoes. Ku. Oh, this was an actual Japanese word, no loan word. So this is hiragana. Ku. This is wrong. This is wrong. I remember it starts with a ku, but what it ends with, no idea. So let's just go down. Kutsu. Kutsu. Now, you might be wondering, like, what on earth just happened? Basically, we completed this one, and it kind of jumped to the last unanswered part of the quiz. So, socks, which was, kutsuishita, if I remember correctly. Kutsuishita. Kutsuishita. Something like this. So I got 60%, which I don't think is all too bad for, first attempt. Kutsuishita. Kutsuishita. There's a she there. Okay. Fine. So what are we going to do? We're just going to uncheck, recheck random ordering, and we're going to go again. So shoes was ku. I've forgotten again. Ku. Kushi? It's not right. Kutsu. Kutsu. Okay. If I do this again, it's basically cheating, right? Because shoes is just at the top again. It's going to be easy to remember. So we're going to uncheck, recheck random ordering. I'm going to go again. So, ja, ke, to. This was correct, but I'm typing it in hiragana. That's very silly. So what we're gonna do is go again. So this is bo, shi. Sweater was katakana. So we're gonna go here. We're gonna go to katakana. Seta. Extended vowel sounds. Great. This was skato. Silent U here for the su. Ka is extended because of this dash. Skato. This is ja, ke, to. Skafu. So kind of like skato, skafu. Same pattern here. This silent U from su. Ka being extended. Underwear was shi, ta, gi. Shi, shita, shitagi, shitagi. Was it this? Oh, this is so frustrating. I just typed this in katakana, not hiragana, of course. But that's fine. We're just going to keep it moving. So socks, I remember that's like a hiragana word. And it's like kutsui shita. Something like this. Fantastic. Trousers is a Japanese loan word with French origins, supposedly. Bon. Tie is neck. Oh, jeez. Neck. Tie. Neku, but the U is silent. Neck tie. Okay. And this kind of makes sense, right? Like ta and e, tie, necktie. And this, so U sounds quite often, it seems, they can be silent if need be for katakana when you're looking at like loan words. Shoes is kutsu, but it's a Japanese word with Japanese roots. So this is kutsu. So okay, I got 90%, and let's just take a step back and kind of, for those of you that have just joined, kind of repeat what we're trying to do here. So we're doing Japanese vocabulary. The topic is clothes, and I'm testing my ability to go from English to Japanese. And so if I uncheck and recheck random ordering, what that does is it scrambles the rows, scrambles the order of the questions. So I can't really remember in what order I answered the questions previously. And so this is basically to hold yourself accountable, right? Because the point here is to learn Japanese, not to get 100%. Like, the emphasis is on learning Japanese. You don't want to game the system, you want to learn Japanese. So underwear is a Japanese word. It's not a loan word. So it's going to be written in hiragana, and it's shitagi. Shitagi. And so I'm doing Japanese vocabulary for clothes, testing my ability to go from English to Japanese. Let's go scarf. So scarf is skafu. As you can hear, that's coming from the English word scarf. That means we're looking at katakana. So we can go here, press katakana, and I've got a tutorial on my YouTube channel if you're interested in how I'm actually typing Japanese here. But in any case, it's su, ka, fu. Let's quickly talk about what's going on here. So this ka, it's an extended vowel sound because of this dash. So it's not skafu, it's kafu, skafu. That A is extended because of that dash. This su, in Japanese, for the letter S, you've really only got 5 options, right? Sashi, suset, sol. This cluster of 5 starting with an S. Because I lost my marker here, it basically auto-filled. It basically said, oh, okay, that must be the user's input for this question. And, well, fortunately it was correct. But, yeah, so if we look here, sashi, suset, sol. In Japanese, I think, if you just want this silent sound, the S is off, the U here is often skipped. So, arimasu, desu. When you write them, it's actually desu, arimasu. So to me, it sort of makes sense that when you do skafu, you don't want a vowel here between the S and the K, so su seems like a reasonable candidate. Hat is boshi, but boshi is a Japanese word. So I'm going to use hiragana, boshi. Sweater is seta, coming from the English word sweater, presumably. Seta. Extended vowel sounds again. Put that in. Skirt is skatul. Skatul. Is that right? Skatul. Yes. Let's go to socks. Socks. Oh, this one's a nightmare. Kutsushita. I think it's something like this. Kutsuishita. And super briefly, I'm gonna explain what I'm doing here. So I'm actually on my keyboard. I'm typing in K. Next letter that I'm typing in is U. We know that K and U is the Romanized equivalent for the hiragana character ku. So if I want to do, so socks was kutsuishita. So the next character is tsu. So if I type in S, T, S, U, it will now write the tsu hiragana character. She, S, H, I, it maps it to she. Kutsuishita, ta, getting the character for ta. Fantastic. Shoes is kutsu. Trousers is a loan word. So we know it's going to be katakana, and I think it's like zubon. Now, if I just press answer, that's going to be incorrect because that's the English letter N, or like, you know, Roman alphabet. So if I press space now on my keyboard, it's writing the katakana character for N. Why did I not do that immediately? Well, it's because to me it makes a lot of sense, right? Because we have nani nu ne no and N on its own. So there's 6 possible characters when you type in N, and it doesn't know it yet. So when you press the space, you're basically saying it's not na, it's not ni, it's not nu, it's not ne, it's not no, it's N. So that's what's going on there. Now tie is necktie, obviously coming from the English word here. So this is, what is this? Ne tie. Let's talk through this briefly. This is ku, but we don't actually want a vowel here. If you listen, necktie, between the K and the T, there's no vowel sound. So my going theory here is that when you want this silent, like no vowel, you go with U at the end. So it's ku, su, tu, all that. This one, this is ja, ke, to. Now there's a whole lot going on here, so I'm going to break it down. So if I type G and then ya, this is jia. So let's do that again, G and ya. If I type J, Y, A, let's talk it through. So these first 2 characters here is jia. This is ja. You see that these symbols, they're exactly the same, but this is half-sized. And so when you see a half-sized ya, yu, yo, that means that that character, as well as the preceding one, forms something called a yun combination. So this ji and ya, it forms a blended singular syllable. Not jia, it's ja. So when you want ja, and when you're typing on your, normal keyboard, if you type G and ya, you're getting the wrong thing. What you really want to do is you want to type J, Y, A. You want to type the blended syllable, and then you get the yun combination. Ja, ke, and then for the next one, this is tsu, but if I actually type tsu, you notice that it's the same symbol, but this is way larger. This is a half-sized tsu. You don't pronounce this. The point of this half-sized tsu is that this to is not with 1 T, but with 2 T's. To. So this is what's going on here. So that's kind of why I wanted to break this down, because we've got a hiragana or katakana yun combination here. Then we've got this silent tsu to denote this double consonant here. With all of that said, this is great. We've now got 100%. You can save this. And would you look at that? So in a single day, I've got 100% for body parts, clothes, and colors, going from English to Japanese. And let's just look super quickly how many words this is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Wow. So I think I said in the beginning of this video, my goal was to do 30 words, at least 30 words. We did 31. And so I think I'm going to call it a day for today. But thank you so much for tuning in. For the next live stream, I think my goal will be to just cover another 30 words, kind of just like today. And if I keep doing that steady cadence, my vocabulary is going to keep expanding. Another thing that I would aim to do is, sure, I know these words right now, but do I know them a week from now, a month from now? So another thing that I want to do is kind of revisit old vocabulary lists and just kind of make sure that I'm still in shape, that I still know that vocabulary. But having said all of that, thank you so much. I will see y'all next time, and please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. That would really help support the channel. Thank you very much.